Any cruise you're on, even a very short one, even if it's only 3 or 4 days, is going to have at least one elegant night. So there will be a dress code for that night. So guys, you're going to want to pack at least a sport jacket, minimum, suit jacket, whatever. You could probably get away with using that to dress other things up. The actual dress code, as it reads, Cruise Elegant dress code consists of no jeans, no shorts, no t-shirts, no sportswear, no baseball hats, no flip-flops, and no bathing suit attire. That last one really should go without saying. So anyways, ladies, a dress gets the job done very nicely. The rest of the cruise is, this particular cruise is cruise casual, which is a different dress code. Basically, no flip-flops, no bathing suit stuff. You're probably good to go. Some of the longer cruises will have 2 or perhaps even more elegant evenings. Elegant evenings are great. You go around, you look nice, you know, you definitely want to eat in the restaurant that night. Everybody looks great. You go to the comedy club, you go to the nightclub, you go anywhere on the ship, and everyone just looks fantastic. And I think that's great. I think that's nice, you know. I mean, you're on vacation, you're kind of, you know, I mean, you're lucky enough to be on a cruise, so why not show off a little bit? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. A nice little bit of fun. I kind of like the fact that the cruises basically make you look your best for at least one night. I think that that's a good thing. I personally enjoy it. I always like being able to shave off the mountain man look after a couple of days of build-up, because it just starts, I don't like the look. I'm lazy enough to let it happen, but I don't particularly enjoy the feeling or the way it looks. So tonight is Cruise Elegant. My basic plan is I'm going to go to the restaurant. I'm going to go solo, but work SBC with other people. Maybe I'll meet another pack of interesting people, or even some of the same people tonight. I don't know. And I think the Cruise Elegant's a great night to be doing that, because, nothing makes you, I think, a little bit more comfortable around strangers than knowing that you're looking nice, and that, you're showing some respect for the facility, for the people, for yourself, by wearing something nice and making that extra effort. And so even as much suitcase space as a suit can eat up, it's a price that's worth paying every single time, I think. So I just got back from my second dinner. This is the formal, elegant night of the cruise. So it was my second night dining with strangers, and I gotta say, I dig it. I think it's cool. I had a good time. It's a different group. The one guy was the same last night and this night, but everyone else was new. So it was a different group, not so many veterans. This was a veteran group of cruisers. I was sitting at a table with some diamond and some platinum members. Another gold guy like me was just about to become platinum on his very next sailing, which ironically is the Cabo trip that Sam and I went on in November. So I was able to give him quite a bit of hopefully useful advice about his Cabo sail on board the Miracle. There's quite a community out there of cruisers. It's I'm not going to call it a cult because these are really nice people. They almost speak a different language to a degree, because they've been on so many ships and so many sailings, have so much experience and know so much stuff. But the stories they tell are fascinating, and you learn a lot from them. You gain a lot of perspective. It's interesting to talk about there was someone in the news who's been living on a cruise ship for 7 years, paying $164,000 a year US or something to do that. That keeps coming up in conversation. It did last night, it did tonight. Everybody just kind of like, oh, that's the life, that's the retirement for me. A lot of people have done different versions of that, just not to the same extreme. They'll cruise for 9 months and then be in Montana for 3 months. That wasn't somebody at dinner, but that was somebody that someone at dinner had met on a previous cruise, had that arrangement. My big takeaway from this was a tip I got from the guy that was at both dinners, and he basically said, if you have something like 100 shares of Carnival stock, you get onboard credits of something like $50, $100, I don't know exactly how much, every time you cruise. So this guy says he only just bought the stock about a year ago, and he says that over the course of about 9 or 10 months so far, he's earned 80% of his investment back. And also apparently the stock's been paying dividends lately as well. And so he's factoring that in, I think. But basically he's got his money back. And that goes on and on and on. And so there was another fellow there, the diamond member guy, this guy, whew, man, he knew his stuff, and he's done it all. And he can't wait to do more. It's great. And yeah, so he's got to a point where, between being a diamond member, holding the stock, cruising so frequently, knowing how to do it well and wisely and inexpensively, really, it's almost getting to the point, he says, where Carnival's almost paying him to cruise, which is a hell of a thing. Sounds like it's a solid stock. I mean, I certainly believe in the company. And those perks, you know, if this cruising thing is more than just a fad for me, and I've been at it for, this is my 5th cruise. I started in 2013 in March, and it's currently January of 2015, and I'm still can't get enough of it. I got 3 cruises booked this year. The one I'm on, the one to Cozumel with Sam in a little over a week's time, and then October to Bermuda with my mom and family. And I may try and fit another one in if I can. I've got this cruise, I got 5 days home, and then I got the next cruise. And that 5 days at home consists of 3 work days and 1 games night. We throw a party. This is the 2nd year during the Super Bowl, which is for people who aren't interested in football. Because I noticed years and years and years ago that the cool thing about Super Bowl for people who aren't interested is that the grocery stores are totally empty. And junk food's often on a fantastic sale. You want to get nachos and Pepsi, you're going to get a pretty good price, probably, because they're all competing for the Super Bowl Sunday crowd. So, yeah, we basically have a games night, have people come over, say, you know, it's potluck, because I still have cruises to pay for. So everybody hit, you know, hit your local grocery store and pick up some cheap junk food, bring it on by. We've got the games, we've got the space. And yeah, it was a whole lot of fun last year. And so we're doing it again this year. For people who are, oh, I love the Super Bowl, they say that, oh, well, you know, Seattle won last year, I'm told. So, you know, that was the first year we did. We did the party, and I think that was the first time Seattle's won. So in order to, you know, ourselves be, I'm going to say the 12th man, which is I think what they call their fans, you know, to support them, and you know, the odds and the luck and the rituals and whatever you want to call it, tradition, we'll have the party again and maybe they'll win again, because apparently they're playing again. So there's that. I still think this dining with strangers thing is cool. You know, you get the odd, difficult person to a degree. Like I said, the first time Burton and I did it back in March of 2013, there was a lot of people who were complaining. You know, spring break, and we happened to be seated with some older people, and they didn't appreciate sort of the party people, or Burton and I. But you know, last night was great, and tonight. There was no complaints about last night. Last night was perfect. The only issue tonight was there were 2 people that were hearing impaired, which is not a problem. One of them was fine, but the other one you had to repeat yourself quite frequently. And I think she may have also been suffering from Alzheimer's, because she kept asking the same question over and over again. She asked this one person what airline he worked for at least 3 times. But everyone was really patient about it, and no one said, oh, he already told you, and he didn't say, oh, I answered that already, or anything like that. They were all really, you know, they picked up on it right away, and they were polite about it. They didn't draw attention to it. They just politely responded and answered the question as many times as the person kind of needed to hear it, and as loudly or whatever as they needed to hear it. And so it's fantastic. These are good people. I mean, you know, they don't believe in the welfare state, and so they have some issues with, you know, that. A lot of people who work for airlines, I've noticed, tend to cruise quite a bit, I think, or people have airline perks, you know, widows of lifetime employees of Delta and stuff like that, getting some sort of spousal free standby flights, basically, and then taking cruises to kind of coordinate with that. Everyone was very impressed with the $24 cruise, which was nice. There was the odd story of things that, you know, they had heard a couple things of people getting better values, but I don't think anyone at that table had themselves gotten a deal quite this sweet. So that was nice. You know, it's not, you know, it's like a clique. I made a joke about it being a cult, which it's not. But it's also incredibly accepting. I think the thing that made the conversation most lively and got people excited to talk the most was when they could provide useful advice to another person at the table. Like when I was able to help that one guy out with his Cabo trip and give him some advice about tenders and excursions in Mazatlan. Because if you're in Mazatlan, go to El Cid. El Cid is awesome. Sam probably has some bad memories from drinking too much, but it's fantastic. The parasailing and everything. And so I was just telling them all about that and how that works. And, you know, and then they were telling me about how other things work, like the stock option. I actually ended up going to the comedy club with one of the guys that was at the dinner with us, because that's where he was headed. So I just went and grabbed a booth. He went and grabbed his brother and met me at the comedy club, and we had a good old time. I don't remember his name. The lady at the table kept calling me Rick. So, I'm Rick. Hi, I'm Rick. I'm fine with that. I don't care. It's probably going to come out and get clarified at some point. And it's interesting that the Diamond members who have been at sea, 200 plus days or whatever the hell it is, they're still excited to go on this 4-day sail to Ensenada. It's like, it's not only does it never get old, but even like, the little things, the small ones, the cheap ones, the quick ones, the short ones, the less impressive ships of a smaller size and older age, doesn't matter. They all, and you know what it is? They all find things to enjoy. And I think that's really, they're not looking for problems. I mean, if there's one, they identify it and try to solve it, but that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for a good time, they're looking for something to enjoy, and they find it every time. How great is that? So, I mean, I don't know. If this cruise hobby of mine keeps up, am I going to end up like one of these guys? That would not be so bad. They're good people. It's a nice community, and it's out there, and it's very welcoming. So that's pretty cool. And the funny thing is every time I have something to worry about when it comes to a Carnival Cruise, it's fine. Every time. When I first sailed with Burton, I was worried that it would be just old people. It's not. You get a good diverse age cross-section. I was worried that nothing would be included and they'd constantly after you to spend more money. They offer to get you drinks and stuff, and there's opportunities and excursions, but you can do just fine without spending a dime. I got, and I don't know why, but I got $8 in shipboard credit, and I spent $9 on a drink last night, Kiss on the Lips, which is absolutely wonderful. If you're ever on a cruise with Carnival, get yourself a Kiss on the Lips if you're an adult. It is awesome. It's fun to order, and it's a tasty, tasty drink. So anyways, and that's it. That's all I've spent. I'm halfway through basically the trip. This is, towards the end of day 2 of a 4-day sail, and I have functionally spent less than $2, I think, since I got here. Not counting the tip to the shuttle driver, which is not even, Carnival. Now it's just me being nice, because I actually had to tap him on the shoulder and be like, hey man, this is for you, because he was on his way. I was just trying to, be nice and do the right thing and all that kind of stuff, be generous when I can. So, so much stuff is included. And so that wasn't a worry. I was worried that the motion of the ship would be too much. The ship is super stable, even when traveling at speed. That kind of stuff. I thought the ports would be unsafe. I didn't even know what excursions were, so I didn't even know that was an option. I just thought it was going to be like, you've got X number of hours in this place, good frickin' luck, and that was it. And it's not like that at all. I didn't know that there were comedians, and man, one of the 2 comedians on this ship is fantastic. The other one's he does some good sound effects and voices, so I think he'd be a great voice actor, but as a comedian, he's not that great. He does a lot of lazy, cheap, redone humor, but the other guy's fantastic. All the stuff to do, the Broadway-like show, well, I guess more Vegas-like shows, but the shows, all that kind of stuff. Those don't often appeal to me much, but it's still nice that it's there, and it's included, and the water slide, and all that kind of stuff. And so every time I had a concern, when I was on my first cruise with Burton, it got taken care of. And the thing that I didn't appreciate at the time was when we went for the brunch, and he specifically asked that we be seated with other people as he was showing me the other things, is that you don't even have to be afraid of being on your own. And there's a lot of solo cruisers out there. If you can afford it, I don't recommend it financially. It's a raw deal financially to sail by yourself. You're paying for the whole cabin, even though you're not eating twice as much food, and you're not taking 2 seats at the comedy club, and you're not, So, economically it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But if you're not worried about the economics of the situation, it's awesome. It's fine. You meet fascinating people, and they're so welcoming and friendly, and it's just... cruise ship, it's nothing to worry about. Just things to choose from.